Chapter of Celestial Cultivation, Article 11. Stepping Out of Reality and Beginning Transformation. By Zufeng. Translation edited by Kinyu. The purpose of celestial cultivation is to leave the troubled human world and live in the spaces where celestials reside, the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium world. The question is, how can we clearly depart from the human world and consciously enter these spaces? This article reveals one of the secrets to transforming from a human into a celestial. Everything perceived by the five senses is a product of our consciousness. The myriad phenomena of the universe we perceive are illusions, not reality. These illusions shift with our consciousness, remaining transient and elusive. We cannot grasp a cloud, nor can we control the earth. We are powerless in the face of the complex phenomena of human society because all of these are mere reflections of divine spirits and human consciousness. Our arrival in the human world is neither the fault of the divine nor of others. It is the result of our own consciousness. The towering cities are products of human consciousness. The computers, telephones, mobile devices, transportation tools, clothing, and food we use are all products of human consciousness. Without such consciousness, none of these would exist. Monkeys and apes cannot create computers or build cities simply because they lack this consciousness. Whether it is reservoirs, nuclear power plants, particle accelerators, or space stations, all are products of human consciousness. Our reality is created by ourselves. The nature of our consciousness determines the nature of our reality. Parents, children, relatives, and friends are also creations of our consciousness. If these relationships did not exist in our consciousness, we would not have come to the human world. We marry because we desire marriage. We have children because we desire children. If we had no desire for marriage or children, then marriage and parenthood would never occur in our lives. A thief commits theft because theft exists in their consciousness. A virtuous person does not steal because the thought of stealing never exists in their consciousness. Mao Zedong became chairman of the country because he had the consciousness of becoming chairman. Billionaires accumulate wealth because they have the consciousness of acquiring great riches. Why were the people so poor during Mao Zedong's era? It was because most of the leaders came from impoverished backgrounds and never had the consciousness of living in wealth. After the reform and opening up, some Chinese people quickly became wealthy because they desired wealth and enjoyed making money. Yet, more than a decade later, some former poverty alleviation officials remained destitute because they never had the consciousness or methods to acquire wealth. The nature of our consciousness determines the nature of our lives. This is an unshakable truth. People from northern China, especially in Shaanxi, Gansu, and Ningxia, can make hundreds of different foods using flour, while people from northeast China and the south cannot. The reason is simple. The consciousness of making such foods does not exist in their minds. A simple teacup has nearly 30 different uses, yet we only use it as a drinking vessel because we have never considered its other functions. Humans can become celestials, but the vast majority do not believe this. Why? Because the thought of becoming a celestial does not exist in their consciousness. They have never considered it, just as monkeys have never contemplated becoming human. If the thought does not exist, if the idea is absent, then it can never be realized. One of the secrets to becoming a celestial is that our consciousness must first create the future. It must create the celestial world. We must first envision ourselves as celestials. As Taiji Celestial said, the way one thinks determines the form of one's existence. This is the key to celestial transformation. If we constantly imagine ourselves living in the 1,000-year world, over time, our life structure will evolve toward that existence. When the time is ripe and all conditions are met, we will naturally transition to the 1,000-year world. To others, it may seem as though we have passed on, but in truth, we have transcended the human world and entered the celestial world to embrace the life of celestials. If our consciousness contains no concept of the 1,000-year world, we cannot go there. Any wishful thinking or blind attempts to stumble upon it are self-deceptions. The law of the Tao is precise and unyielding. I intend to guide all Chanyuan celestials to the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world. This may sound mysterious and profound, but in reality, it is quite simple. There are only a few essential secrets. If they are never spoken, people will never think of them. but once revealed, even a primary school student can understand them. Who could have imagined that energy equals mass times the speed of light squared? Who could have foreseen that an apple falling to the ground is due to gravity? Who could have envisioned that the spirit of the greatest creator permeates all movements across all dimensions of time and space? Our consciousness is trapped within conventional thinking, bound by the ever-changing phenomena of the universe. We rarely look beyond appearances to understand the essence of these changes. If our thinking cannot break free from reality, if we cannot step beyond its boundaries, we will never become celestials. Even imagining it will be difficult. Everything I have written serves only as a guide. If someone truly understands the mysteries of life and the Tao, then all that I have written is mere rubbish. Even the Bible, Buddhist scriptures, and the Tao teaching would be nothing but trash. The question is, without such trash, how could we ever grasp the mysteries of life and the Tao? We are lost in illusion, yet we refuse to admit it. We live in a world of illusions, yet we cling to these illusions with such devotion and obsession that we cannot extricate ourselves. Even at the moment of death, we refuse to turn back. Once we die, everything in the material world ceases to exist for us. After a lifetime of toil, we leave with nothing, yet we continue to struggle, stubbornly deceiving ourselves and others. People are obsessed with competing, fighting, and possessing, finding it both exciting and deeply sorrowful. Laozi understood this profoundly. He said his teachings were easy to understand and follow, yet no one was willing to understand or follow them. So, he simply became a celestial himself. A sage once said, "Whenever humans start thinking, the greatest creator laughs." I would argue that this depends on what one is thinking about. If your thoughts revolve around how to find a spouse, have children, bring honor to your ancestors, win glory for your country, amass wealth, climb the political ladder, overthrow the government, or expand your personal fame, then not only would the greatest creator laugh, but even sages would find it amusing. However, if we contemplate how to extend our lives from the human world to the celestial realms, then the greatest creator will not mock us, nor will the sages ridicule us, for we have awakened. We have begun to understand something. But what is it that we have truly understood?